Most people think having some savings means they are financially secure. But in the UK, the real question is not whether you have savings. It is whether you have the right amount. Too little can leave you one unexpected expense away from debt. Too much can quietly slow down your wealth-building progress. In this video, you'll discover exactly how much emergency savings you really need, and how to calculate your personal target. Before investing, before overpaying your mortgage, and before chasing higher returns, there is one financial foundation that must be built first: the emergency fund. Many people skip this stage because it feels unexciting. Investing appears more productive, and debt repayment often feels more urgent. However, without a cash buffer, even a minor financial shock can derail years of progress. A broken boiler, unexpected car repair, or sudden job loss can quickly force someone to rely on credit cards or personal loans. The emergency fund exists to prevent this. It acts as a financial firewall between your life and unexpected events. It doesn't create wealth directly, but it protects the wealth-building process. Without protection, every investment plan remains vulnerable to disruption. The size of your emergency fund should reflect the level of risk in your life. Someone with a secure full-time job, strong employment benefits, and a second household income faces a different level of risk than a self-employed contractor or business owner. Yet, many people use identical savings targets regardless of their circumstances. This creates either unnecessary vulnerability or unnecessary inefficiency. Financial planning works best when it is personalized. Consider how stable your income is, how easily you could replace it if lost, and how many people depend on you financially. Your emergency fund should be based on these realities. The goal is not to save as much as possible. The goal is to save enough to comfortably absorb financial shocks without disrupting your long-term plans. You have probably heard that you should save 3 to 6 months of expenses. While this advice is common, it often lacks context. 3 months may be sufficient for someone with stable employment, low expenses, and strong workplace protections. 6 months is often the most appropriate target for the average UK household, particularly those with mortgages, dependents, or moderate income uncertainty. For business owners, freelancers, commission-based professionals, and those working in volatile industries, 12 months can provide valuable protection. There is no universal number that works for everyone. Instead, the right answer depends on your personal exposure to risk. The more uncertainty surrounding your income, the larger your emergency fund should be. Your savings should reflect reality, not generic financial advice. One of the biggest mistakes people make is choosing an emergency fund amount without doing the actual calculation. The process is simple. Start by listing only your essential monthly expenses. This includes rent or mortgage payments, council tax, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt repayments. These are your survival expenses, not your lifestyle expenses. Do not include holidays, entertainment, subscriptions, or dining out. Once you have your monthly figure, multiply it by the number of months you have chosen based on your risk level. If essential expenses equal £1,800 per month and your target is 6 months, your emergency fund becomes £10,800. This transforms a vague goal into a precise target that can be planned, measured, and achieved systematically. An emergency fund only works when it is reserved for genuine emergencies. Many people struggle because they use the fund for expenses that were entirely predictable. A true emergency is unexpected and unavoidable. Examples include urgent car repairs, sudden unemployment, essential household repairs, or medical expenses that require immediate payment. These situations cannot be scheduled or postponed. By contrast, holidays, birthdays, Christmas spending, new phones, and home upgrades are not emergencies. They are foreseeable events that should be planned for separately. If you know an expense is coming, it belongs in a dedicated savings category rather than your emergency fund. Maintaining this distinction is critical. Otherwise, the fund is constantly depleted and never reaches the level required to provide genuine financial security. Choosing the correct location for your emergency fund is almost as important as building it. The money must remain in cash and be accessible when needed. Investing emergency savings in stocks or funds introduces risk at precisely the moment you require certainty. Equally, leaving the money in a standard current account often results in minimal interest earnings. An easy access savings account typically offers a better solution. These accounts provide competitive interest rates while keeping funds available whenever necessary. Accessibility should always be prioritized over maximum returns. An emergency fund exists to provide immediate financial support during difficult situations. If accessing the money involves delays, penalties, or complicated withdrawal rules, it is not serving its intended purpose. Simplicity and availability are essential. Many people delay building an emergency fund because the final target feels overwhelming. Looking at a goal of several £1,000s can make progress seem impossible. The solution is to focus on the process rather than the total. Begin with a smaller milestone, such as £500 or £1,000. This initial buffer can already prevent many common financial problems from turning into debt. Once the first milestone is achieved, continue building toward your full target. Consistency matters more than speed. Even relatively small monthly contributions can create significant progress over time. Financial security is rarely built through one large action. It is built through a series of smaller decisions repeated month after month. The key is to start now, rather than waiting for perfect circumstances. The most effective emergency funds are built through systems, not motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but a good system works automatically. Setting up a standing order right after payday ensures money moves into savings before it can be spent elsewhere. Over time, your emergency fund grows steadily in the background. Financial security is not built through occasional effort. It is built through consistent habits and systems that work month after month, regardless of how motivated you feel. Building an emergency fund is not the most exciting part of personal finance, but it is one of the most important. It creates the stability that allows every other wealth-building strategy to work properly. Once your emergency fund is fully established, you can begin investing and growing your wealth with confidence, knowing that unexpected events are unlikely to derail your progress. In the next video, we'll explore exactly where your first investments should go and how to begin building long-term wealth, step by step.